Welcome to my tutorial of Super Mario Bros. Crossover, and this is a flash game on PC. Quite a good game. It's basically Super Mario Bros., but you can, pick from maybe about 6 different characters shown here from, old NES games, basically. So you got, Simon Belmont from Castlevania, Bill Reiser from Contra, Link, and a bunch of different characters. So it's actually really cool to be able to play through the Super Mario Brothers stage layouts, but with these characters really changes the way it plays. I'm not sure if it's a one-for-one accurate layout of the Super Mario Brothers games. It did feel like there was some extra enemies and some different changes to the stages, but then again, although I have beaten various ports of the Super Mario Brothers games, including the original, I don't have the layout and enemy layouts and everything burned into my mind, so it may be identical, but I can say that it's very close to the original game in the way that everything is laid out. So if you're, familiar with the original Super Mario Brothers, as most players will be from this time at least, then you pretty much know what to expect. You see the 1-up is in the usual place. The warps are in the same place as the original game. And so the main difference here is that you're going to be able to play as whatever character you want from the various NES games. Now, this is version 1.0. I believe there's more current versions out that let you play as even more different characters, and they may even have some different stages. I'm not sure exactly what was added, but if I do come across those, maybe I will do another video on those and, some more playthroughs of those other versions. If you know about it, let me know. I may look into it. But you can see this Bill Reiser character is one of my favorites to use in this version because he has the iconic spread shot weapon once you get him the fire flower. So first you're going to get the mushroom with him, and it's going to give you a machine gun, which is a little bit more powerful than your standard little pea shooter. And then when you get your fire flower, then at that point you get the spread gun. Now your power-ups are saved, so you can power up multiple characters if you want. The game actually allows you to switch characters between each stage you complete. Or if you die and come back, you'll be able to switch to whatever character you want. So it does save the characters that you did power up. If you completed a stage with the character powered up, it will stay that way for the rest of the game until you lose a continue. I think if you continue, it will all be reset as far as power-ups. So the game took me around an hour and 27 minutes to beat, but it took me a while for me to put it together that I could actually save the game at any time. And it would still be legit doing so. So keep that in mind. If you just want to beat the game, you can be as cheap as you want to be about it. And, you could save in the middle of the stages if you want and then reload the game. If you want to be really, really fucking cheap about it. I mean, I would still say it's legit just because the game does allow save anytime, load anytime. So it's not like using a save state on an emulator, where the original game didn't allow that. This game just has saves built in, so you can use that if you like. What I did to make it I committed suicide on purpose here because I just remembered that there's a warp in this stage. And since I was just going to beat the game, I knew that warping was going to be the fastest way to beat the game. So here I'm replaying the stage again. There may have been a checkpoint in this stage, as it looks like there may have been. But I didn't notice that in later stages. But anyway, what you want to do is whatever character you're using, you want to go up here. And by jumping up here, just like in the original game, you're going to have your usual warps that go up to World 4. So you're going to see me skip to World 4 here. And I did like this character the best, but he does have some drawbacks. His jumping can be a little bit awkward since it's pretty much like a single height jump and it's really high and narrow. It doesn't fit this game great. So you're going to have to adjust for that. It's a little awkward to control, but it works. You just have to get used to the different type of jump. The easiest character to control for the platforming I found was Mega Man. Mega Man, if you hold the button down, he has a ton of control over his jumps, the jump height, by holding the button for different lengths of time, even more than Mario does. Now, they kind of fucked up the controls on Mario in this game, which is why I didn't even use him for the final stage, because, see, I know how to beat the game with Mario on the final world. But he controls quite a bit different, doesn't really have good running speed. It's hard to get him going with the run. It was causing me more problems. So I found it easier just to get a guy with a gun like this guy, he just fucking shoot everything. But I liked him better than Mega Man overall. But sometimes I liked Mega Man better for some of the platforming sections, because he has the easiest jump to control. The limitation with Mega Man, though, even though he can slide, he can't shoot straight up, which the straight up shot is good in a very limited amount of circumstances. But I actually like not just the straight up shot, but the diagonal up shots are really good too, for hitting like turtles that are coming down on you and stuff like that. But it is limited use. Most of the time the straight shot is fine. So that's pretty much it. This is basically Super Mario Brothers with whatever characters you want to use. You can see the platform. It's a little trickier here. You see, like, kind of when I do my jumps, I kind of pull back on the opposite direction to land my jumps, because his jumps can be kind of awkward, but you do get used to it. I consider this the best character to use, at least for me it was. So here you want to shoot all those bricks and take the vine up, and now you're going to get your next warp. I believe this warp takes you to the final world. So you can see it's very easy to get to the final world. Now the way the game works is if you lose all your lives, you can select continue. And if you continue, you'll start at the beginning of whatever world you were at. So see, this is World 8, the final world, so this is 8-1. So if you get to 8-3 and then lose all your lives and continue, like you see I just continued here. I just edited out a bunch of deaths. Then you will continue back at the beginning of the world, 8-1. So you'll be sent all the way back. Now, if you want to avoid that penalty, keep in mind that the game saves at any time. So just make a save wherever you want. And if you want to be cheap about it, you can reload the save wherever. You can just keep saving and reloading and inching your way through the game if you find it that difficult. But for me, I kind of went with a balance. I just started the stages over from the beginning. So if I got to stage 8-3, I would just make a save at the beginning of 8-3. And then I would just do 8-3 in its entirety without dying. So that's what I settled with. I mean, I could have been cheap about it and beat the game faster. I also was just trying to beat the game normally with the normal continue system, and I almost did it. I got to world 8-3 without, doing any kind of save spamming or anything. But then I was like, fuck it, the game actually lets you save anywhere. So I was like, well, let me just cap this shit off then. I'll utilize that. So not much reason to make a tutorial since you can pretty much save anywhere, but I thought I would explain the game a little bit. I also really like the game, so it's kind of cool to add a little commentary to it. A simple change like letting you play with a bunch of different characters, even if you keep the layout the same, it can really make for a cool game. So this was a good idea. I think this was a cool game. I'll definitely be making a review of this as well, so stay tuned for that. There's a 1-up right here in 8-1, so shoot that block always and keep getting the 1-up. That way, if you do die on 8-1, as long as you keep getting a 1-up, you'll never run out of lives. So you can at least do that. 8-2 also has a 1-up as well that you can keep getting, but the problem with the 1-up on 8-2 is that the hardest part of the stage is in the very beginning of the stage, and you do have to make it past that difficult section to get the 1-up. So usually when I would do badly, I would lose all my lives on 8-2 anyway, and not even get to the 1-up. So it's not as helpful in that stage. But again, you can save, and you can pretty much play it as however you want with the save. So, it's up to you if you want to play by the continue rules or not. And like I said, every time you die, you get to pick what character you want to use. Every time you beat a stage, you get to pick your character. So this character is great because, you can shoot the piranha plants and you can shoot through pipes and walls and shit too. So, if a guy's on the opposite end of a pipe, you can just shoot him through the pipe. And I think that's all this character really has, but that's all he needs. Some characters have other special moves and things like that, which I'm not really covering because I didn't really use them. I tried some of the characters briefly. But, this was the obvious character for me pretty much for the game. The only character that competed with this guy for me was Mega Man. But even though he had the best jumps, I didn't really like his shot as much. I don't think his shot went as far. It may only cover like half of the screen. It probably does go through walls and shit, but it just doesn't go that far from what I remember. And the fact that he can't shoot up, is kind of a limitation for me. I like those up diagonal shots. So there was a few things, but now this is the hardest stage in the game, at least for me. So you see me here, I'm actually making a save at 8-2. and then you're going to see me reloading it. But I will be starting the stage from the beginning and doing the stage clean with no deaths, so it will be clean. What I mean by no deaths is that there are no checkpoints in the final world. So, if you die on a stage, you're always going to be starting the stage at the beginning. So you always have to beat these stages without dying. If you can die, but you'll start at the beginning of the stage. So here I'm loading 8-2. So now you can pick whatever character you want yet again. Simon Belmont seems to really suck ass with the whip, but if you want to try it, it's interesting for challenge runs and shit. If you want to try characters that are really not that great for this layout, you can go ahead and try to beat the game with them, and that could give you an extra incentive. I could see that being a cool challenge run. So I think it's cool they included it. I like it. Now, but as far as optimal, the optimal character that I'm going to pick if I just want to beat the game, I mean, this is going to be one of my main choices. But maybe some other players will like somebody else better. Now, there's a one up here. Now, that first part, though, is really difficult. My recommendation for that stairway with all that bullshit everywhere is to just try to run up and jump up the stairs, and just try to get through fast pretty much. You may have to stop for a moment to dodge one of those spiky balls, but just jump over it if you can and just keep going. There's not a lot I can say except practicing it, you know what I mean, and getting it down. And then this part's not the easiest either with all these bullet bill turtles and all this other shit. Just try to take your time, but be careful with the bullet bills. You see, I got hit there. The reason I was able to take a hit, I think I got the mushroom in the stage, but it's a little tricky to get. Now this character does fire his bullets in bursts of about 3 bullets with each burst, so it's easy to miss turtles and shit like that. So, especially the flying ones, they can miss a lot of your bullets, and you have to wait for those 3 bullets to fire out before you get your next burst. So, a lot of times it's going to be better to stomp these guys. Some of them you can shoot, but you may have to stomp some of them if they get too close. So just be ready to do that. As I said, not a hell of a lot to explain with this tutorial. I mean, you can see what I'm doing, but maybe it'll help a little bit. So this is the hardest stage. Once you've completed this, you don't have much difficulty left if you play carefully. 8-3 is a pretty easy stage with this character, pretty damn easy. There's not much that can threaten you if you play carefully. The Hammer Brothers normally would be a pain in the ass, but with this fucking guy, you can just mow everyone down. So you just got to be a little patient. And I'll show you where the power-ups are as well, so that should help. Again, you see me saving, and you can do this anytime, anywhere in the stage that you want. I didn't want to be that cheap, like I said. I wanted to just do it at the beginning of the stage. I thought that would be, without being super cheap about it. But I did consider it legit, since it's within the rules of the game. But a lot of players, can use this tutorial, and they can use this information to play the game with the continue system in place. And they should, the same strategies will apply. I'm not doing anything super fancy that's hard to pull off or anything. So you can do this in a regular run. This is similar to what I did when I did almost beat it using the save system. So not much change there. Kill the hammerheads at a distance, or the Hammer Brothers, and then shoot that block to get your first mushroom, which is going to give you a machine gun. So you can see the first power-up gives you a machine gun, and that just makes things easier from here on out. It's going to be the same strat. You're going to take out these Hammer Brothers from a distance again. Try to shoot them at the level they're on. Just be patient. You have plenty of time, even though it makes you think that you're running out sometimes. But once you kill those, don't shoot all the blocks. Just try to shoot the top one that has the power-up. Because if you shoot that bottom row out, you're not going to be able to jump up and reach the fire flower. So don't go crazy with shooting all the bricks. Just concentrate your fire on the Hammer Brothers. Leave the blocks intact so you can get that fire flower. Now you got the fucking spread shot. Now you're pretty much, almost invincible at this point if you're patient. So stay back and just, pump some lead in these motherfuckers. And that's it for this stage. Super easy stage, especially if you get the power-ups. And now you're going to be fully powered up for the final stage. So if you follow my instructions here, you'll be good. You just have to know which pipes to take. It is a maze stage like the original game, but it's a very simple fucking maze. I can tell you one tip for this maze is that whenever you see a pool of lava, you jump over it and you go in the next pipe. That's all you need to know, and you do that 3 times. So, that's you don't have to write anything down. Just remember that simple piece of advice. So here you see me saving again. I actually watched a video to see what the order of pipes was because I didn't remember the final stage. But you'll see it here. It's very easy. Just clear out the, clear out the shit that's in your way. There's not many enemies to deal with. Try to take out the plants, basically, because they can get you sometimes, but very little threat here. So jump on this platform. And now, as you see, we're passing a pool of lava. So what does that mean? Go in the next pipe. And just follow that for the whole level. And Bowser is a complete fucking joke, as you would expect. But yeah, just keep going. Jump over the lava. And now go up here. This is the next pipe after the pool of lava. So go down there. And now we're going to follow the same instructions for the final time. You're going to, watch out for these guys that come under you. You can stomp on them, but just watch out for them. Now, as soon as you pass that next pool of lava, you go in the final pipe. And now this is the hardest part of the stage because of your shitty jumping. This is where the Bill Reiser character kind of goes to shit. Because when you're in water, you do these super high fucking jumps. And you're going to see me take a hit because I don't really know how to time it properly. So hopefully you're fully powered up and then you'll be alright. You can take a hit. It's very hard to time with these high. You can see how high that jump is and there's no way to do a shorter jump. Not that I know of. You can't duck either. So you're going to have to be very careful with that if you don't want to get hit. I'm not sure how to do it. It doesn't really matter. If you're fully powered up, you can take one hit. So I would say just, try your best and take the hit and move on. The rest is easy, though. There's just that one part that I don't really know how to do with this character. I think Mega Man would be better for this stage. But I was already fully powered up with this character, so I wasn't going to switch over to a Mega Man with no power-ups. There's no mushrooms or anything in this stage that I'm aware of. So for this Hammer Brother, just shoot through the pipe. Very easy. Now watch out not to get burned here. Just take this platform, jump up, and then all you're going to do is hang back and just, pump bullets into the final boss. By the time he gets to you, he's going to be dead. So you don't have to worry about trying to aim or anything. Very fucking easy. But very cool game overall. I really like how you're able to use all these classic characters with a classic, Super Mario Brothers layout. I think it's really fucking cool. It's something different. Now that I finally got fucking X-Patter set up, that means I can play games that are keyboard only. I can use a fucking controller because, I'm horrible playing with a fucking keyboard on an action game. I try not to do it. I was playing some shooters like that recently, but it was just because I was too lazy to figure out how to use X-Patter. My good friend who sets up the emulation PC and all that shit was able to show me how to use that now. I know how to use it. So, I'll be able to set that up for any keyboard games now, which is, these Flash games are pretty much all keyboard, these PC Flash games, which I have a shit ton of them on my emulation-focused PC. So, now I can start playing them and beating them, which would be a nice amount of games to add to the kill list. And I've also been playing some Beats of Rage games, which are beat-em-ups, which sometimes you'll get one that might be keyboard only, so now I can play those as well. It opens up a ton of shit, so I should be able to play a lot more variety of these types of games. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.